Let me speak to you about a massive business loan from Mulligan Funding. Maximum loan amount $1 million. No credit check, no PG. Don't go anywhere. You're going to love today's conversation. I guarantee it. Welcome back, folks, to another edition of the Awesome Suited Kiwi Show. How are you today? I hope you're all doing fantastic. I'm doing marvelous, if you had to ask me. If you are doing as great as I am, go grab a cup of coffee or tea or vodka and let's roll. In today's conversation, I want to speak to you about a massive business loan from Mulligan Funding. And you can see on the screen here that this loan is fantastic, folks. And Mulligan actually offers several types of business loans. So you have small business term loans, you have working capital loans, recovery assistance program loans, and the SBA bridge loan. So when you reach out to them, if you don't qualify for one type of loan, you may qualify for the other, okay? And the amount will oscillate between $5,000 and $1 million. The APR varies based on your location, your business's history, and your creditworthiness. And fees are variable. It depends again on the transaction, whether we're talking about origination fee, administration fees, all that kind of stuff. And the term up to 8 years, and the time to funding 1 business day, and there are no extra conditions. So in today's show, we are focusing on the small business term loan, but again, there are other term loans that, as I said, that Mulligan Funding provides, all right? And not family, Mulligan Funding. And so what about the capital loan? So capital loan, the capital loan, the working capital loan is kind of cool because it is actually required by every business to pay. This is the kind of loan you would get if you need some extra cash to bridge your liquidity, the liquidity strategy. Let's say a client hasn't paid you very quickly and you have to wait for it 20 days or 30 days just to sort of fill the chasm, fill the hole that that non-payment has created in your let's say on your balance sheet. So a working capital loan can actually be very helpful. You can also get a recovery assistance program loan. This is linked to COVID-19. If you are in an area or if it applies to your business, you can qualify for a recovery assistance program loan. You can also get an SBA bridge loan from Mulligan Family, okay? So depending on which SBA loan you're applying for, approvals can often take anywhere from 1 month to 6 months. Okay, so this is kind of cool. And if you have already applied for an SBA loan or if you are considering an SBA loan, Mulligan Funding can help support you throughout the process. Let's talk about this lender at a glance. So folks, in this show, I am talking to you about a superb, massive business loan from Mulligan Funding. Maximum loan amount, $1 million, okay? And so who is this lender? Who is Mulligan Funding? So they've been doing this for the last 12 years, 13 years. They were created in 2008, okay? And they offer access to working capital loans throughout the country to businesses who have been in business for at least 9 months. So that's really the cutoff in terms of operational history here. So 9 months, that's what they're looking for. And you also need to meet some simple lending requirements of the program. And what we love here, so if you have any question, you need to contact Mulligan Funding at 855-326-3564. The number again is 855-326-3564. And what we love with Mulligan Funding is that they were really working with you. They're not, the whole thing about some lenders will just give you the cash and not really worry about anything else. They just want you to get paid. They just want to get paid, right? With Mulligan Funding, things are different. They will assign a loan specialist to you. They will give you the cash. They will approve you. But again, they want to make sure that you are not only using the cash properly, but that you get all the support that you need from the Mulligan Funding family so they can help you in terms of making the right choices. And in some cases, if you need extra funding, they might even give you more. Okay, so you receive fast approval in as soon as a few hours. The average lending on average, they will lend you from 6% to 12% of your current revenue, okay? funding as soon as the next business day after approval, and the terms will oscillate between 6 and 36 months. Loan amount maximum, as I said, 1 million. Okay, and so after evaluating this lender on tens of criteria, including the loan variety, the loan amount generosity, the cost, the reputation, the customer service, we assign the company a score of 9.5 over 10. And our judgment was also confirmed by other reviews online. For example, Trustpilot, Mulligan Funding received an aggregate score of 4.9 over 10, and 4.9 over 5 rather, 4.9 star over 5, and that score came from 396 reviews. So this is a pretty solid score. I want to talk to you now about eligibility criteria. Folks, if you just joined us here, in today's conversation, I am talking to you about a splendid business loan from Mulligan Funding. And we are talking about a maximum loan amount of $1 million, unsecured, no personal guarantee. If you have bad credit or fair credit, you are still welcome. Okay, so what are the eligibility here? So annual revenue, I was talking to you earlier about that the Mulligan family will lend you between 6 and 12% of your revenue. So let's just dig a little deeper here. So annual revenue for a working capital loan, the minimum is $120,000. So that's 10 grand a month. For a business term loan, they want you to have at least $350,000 in business revenue. That's about 30 grand every month. Okay, and that should be over the last 12 months. And time in business for the working capital loan, at least 9 months. For the business term loan, at least 2 years. And your financial history, so no more than one daily debit loan and free from open bankruptcies. So if you have an open bankruptcy, this loan will not work with you. They will not work. They will not approve you. Okay. So in general, when we talk about Mulligan Funding, they also pay attention to your credit score, even though it's not a criterion that goes into effect when evaluating your loan application. However, they just want to have an idea. Okay, so you want to take care of your credit score, not only personally, but also at the business level. Your annual revenue, I've already said that, but you want to pay attention to your financial statements. Okay, and in some cases, Mulligan Funding might want to have access to your accounting software to see exactly what's going on in terms of your financial statements, your balance sheet, your income statement, and your statement of cash flows. And in some cases, they want to have an idea of who is behind the company, so they might request a statement of owner's equity from you. They also might ask for an updated business plan. Again, these requirements will go crescendo if there is the higher the loan amount you are requesting, the longer the list of requirements, right? So they might want to have an updated business plan. Here I'm talking about a compelling business plan that has everything from the SWOT analysis, the strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats in the industry, your key rivals, your key competitors, your main products, your main services, how you make money, how you're going to monetize your business model. They want to have all that kind of info in a business plan. And in some cases, they might also ask for personal and business tax returns, payroll records, incorporation documents, and so on and so forth. Now, let me talk to you about the use of loan proceeds, folks. And which loan are we referring to? We are referring to a humongous business loan from Mulligan Funding. Here is a loan that maximum loan amount $1 million, and they will ask you what you're going to use the money for. Now, they're just asking out of, I would say, for their internal analysis. Okay, they're not going to, as long as the reason for taking out the loan is legit, they're not going to deny you based on the loan proceeds, the use of loan proceeds. All right, so you can use the money. There are 4 main reasons that Mulligan might be comfortable with when it comes to taking out a business loan. So you can use the money to purchase real estate and expand operations, right? Let's say you started as a small, you started maybe 18 months ago, 2 years ago, and things have been working pretty positively for you, and now you want to expand. You want to move to larger offices. Mulligan Funding can actually help you for that. They can help you on that. You can use the money to purchase equipment. Okay, so you have to understand, as a startup or as an established business, you have two choices when it comes to acquiring equipment, right? You can either buy it outright or you can lease it. So if you borrow to buy the equipment, you can have a tax write-off of about 25 grand for the first year and depreciate the rest of the equipment over its useful life, what specialists call economic life. Or you can actually, you can just lease the equipment. You can also use you can use loan proceeds from Mulligan Funding to purchase inventory. This is also good because at the end of the day, it's all about getting the cash and not really chipping into your working capital. You just want to buy inventory, but you don't want to use your own capital. This is kind of cool. So, and you can also use Mulligan Funding loan, a loan from Mulligan Funding to increase working capital. So working capital is basically the money used to manage day-to-day business operations. So as a small business owner, you might take out a loan from Mulligan Funding to satisfy operational costs until the earnings reach a certain value, right? It's all about liquidity management. It's all about making sure you have enough cash in the business to run, to hire staff, to expand operations, to buy inventory, all that kind of stuff. I'll be right back right after this. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back, folks, to another section of the Awesome Studio Kiwi Show. We are still having a convo about a very massive business loan from Mulligan Funding, EIN only, no personal guarantee, low credit, okay, bad credit, okay, fair credit, okay. And what is the evidence needed? What kind of evidence does Mulligan wants to see? They want to see a minimum of 120,000 revenue over the past 12 months. Even if you have imperfect or damaged credit, that's okay. They don't really care about your personal credit because everything is done at the business level. This is why the EIN only is very important. They might ask for a confirmation from your EIN application from the IRS. They're not asking you for any collateral. That's fine. But they might ask, for example, for your articles of incorporation to kind of see exactly what's your company's legal structure. One thing I need to see here is that if you want to increase your chances of being approved by Mulligan Funding for a loan amount as high as $1 million, you better incorporate. Do not remain a sole proprietorship. It's not going to work. You want to segregate your personal affairs from your business's affairs. All right. And so you can be an LLC, a limited liability company, or you can be a limited liability partnership, an S Corp, a C Corp, that's fine. But not a sole proprietorship. Even if you are a one-person business, there is something called single member LLC. And depending on the states where you reside, where you live, you can just you can go online and you can just do this. It takes about 30 minutes. You can do it yourself. And other evidence that I would say Mulligan Funding wants to see are the loan application, of course, the info, your business plan, the business credit report, your income tax returns, the financial statements. In some cases, they might ask for resumes. So they might ask for resumes of, I would say, the founders. Why? Because they just want to make sure that the people running the company have the experience, have the depth and breadth of experience required to actually run the show. And this is particularly important if we are speaking about loans that can be used to start a new business, right? Mulligan Funding will want to make sure that you have the required expertise. Now, I've said before that their minimum operational history is 9 months. So even if you qualify for the 9 months, even if your startup has at least 9 months, they still might want to see that you have the experience required to run the company. Now let's talk about how to apply. So folks, the question here is that we are having a conversation about a large business loan from Mulligan Funding. Mulligan Funding, and this is the EIN only, maximum loan amount $1 million, minimum $5,000, and no credit, bad credit, fair credit, all kinds of credit profiles are welcome. What are Mulligan requirements? I've already given you a few of them. And one thing you need to understand here is that you can actually you can do the application through over the phone or through a web form. So they have what they want to do here is that they want to contact you, because Mulligan works in a different way. They want you to fill out some basic information online, send them the info, and they'll give you a call or they'll email you that way. And we kind of like that too. Why? Because it gives you an opportunity to speak to someone, to have a conversation, so the person can gauge what kind of credit program will be suitable for your particular company, right? And so you can see on the screen, they just ask very basic information. Now, if you don't want that, you can contact them directly at 1-855-326-3564. The number again is 855-326-3564. Okay, and but before you contact them, or if you fill out the form and you just send them all the info they need, you want to get prepared, because they're going to get back to you. And there are certain things that I want you to have ready before you have the conversation with the Mulligan Funding representative. So you want to have your time in business. Of course, you got to have a way to prove it. You can't just say, well, I've been in business for 1 year or 2 years. No, you got to prove it. Your personal credit score, just have it in case. Your business credit score, the annual business revenue and profit, your bank statements. They might want to see that. They might want to see the last 3 bank statements of yours. And they might ask for personal and business tax returns. So if you have filed 1040s in the last 3 years, as well as 1120s or 1065s, they might want to see that kind of information. The loan purpose, you got to document that. The desired loan amounts, remember the interval here is $5,000 all the way to $1 million. So you got to choose one in between those two quote unquote outliers. And you have to put your business plan, have that ready. And the industry you're operating in, the entity type, right? We spoke earlier about whether you are a sole proprietorship, S Corp, C Corp, LLC, LP, LP, the preferred here is LLC. The preferred type is LLC. And make sure you have your business licenses and permits, depending on the industry you're in. If those are quintessential in your industry, Mulligan Funding might want to see that. Your EIN, of course. And if you have copies of your commercial leases, they might want to see that. Also, disclosures of other debts. Normally, if they look into your balance sheet, they would see that you have other debts, and they will ask you who the creditors are and the amounts that you owe specifically. Now, let me give you a few pro tips, folks. Before we close today's conversation, how do you actually get a massive business loan from Mulligan Funding? This is a big decision time here, big decision time. We want to have an idea. You can qualify for a Mulligan Funding, I would say easily. The question is, are you getting a big loan amount or just a teeny-weeny yellow polka dot bikini loan? In other words, are you getting a tiny loan? So if you want to get a massive business loan, because this is what we're talking about today. We're talking about a massive loan from Mulligan Funding. If your goal is to get such a large amount, make sure that you keep your documents in order. You maintain good credit. Even if you have bad or fair credit, having credit is I would say it's a process. It's not an end goal, it's a process. So even if you are at 545 right now, keep working on your credit. Keep working. You want to push forward. You want to target 600 and then 700 and then 800. You also need to demonstrate sufficient cash flow. Obviously, Mulligan Funding will ask for revenue requirements to be met, 9 months, operational history at least, 120 grand total revenue per year minimum. But you constantly need to show them that you're having enough cash coming in, because there is a big difference in accounting between revenue and cash. You might be making a lot of revenue, you might be making a lot of sales, right? But unless you get the cash, the payment from your customers, those sales are just sales. We've seen a lot of businesses that actually are healthy when you look at their income statements, but when you look at their cash flow statements, you realize they have a lot of, I would say, past due amounts, and this is pretty bad. You also need to understand that every lender is different. So if you don't get your funding from Mulligan Funding, there is a constellation of other alternative lenders out there where you might qualify for a loan, okay? And if you don't actually you want to pay attention also to one thing that's very important in our analysis. You want to gather your documents, your business and personal tax returns, your business and personal bank statements, your business financial statements, your business legal documents. The thing here is that you really don't need, even though this loan is an EIN only loan, depending on the structure of your business. For example, if you are a sole proprietorship, then you might want to attach to the application package your personal bank statements, tax returns, and financial statements in addition to the businesses. All right, folks, this was it for today's conversation. I was talking to you about a huge business loan with EIN only. The loan is offered by Mulligan Funding. Maximum loan amount $1 million. Low credit, bad credit, fair credit, all kinds of credit profiles are welcome. And let's quickly go through a recap here. So I gave you an overview, the loan facts, the lender at a glance, give you an overview of this lender, eligibility criteria, the use of loan proceeds, the evidence needed, how to apply, and I give you a few pro tips. Thank you so much for your attention, folks. I really appreciate it. I'll speak to you another time, but until then, remember, stay marvelous.